Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video I'd like to talk to you about how we are thinking that the global economic recovery trajectory is going to look like. So how do we think that we're going to get out of the mess that COVID-19 brought us, and how can we understand this simply? And I will also compare this to the 2008 financial crisis and how the period after that looked like. But before getting there, we need to very shortly again recap how COVID-19 affected economies, especially for people who haven't seen previous videos. So COVID-19 affected us in two important ways. It affected manufacturing because people couldn't again be together in closed spaces, and that's of course where production often happens. And so because this would of course be very dangerous for spreading the virus, a lot of manufacturing plants have first been closed down and then have been cleaned and only then have been opened again. But people had to work in shifts, and could only be less people together and only under strict health regulations. So manufacturing plummeted, of course, in this period, and only now is slowly going up again, but in a very controlled fashion. So in terms of consumption, we kind of saw the same thing. Consumption, because companies closed down, because curfews, regulations, lockdowns, we saw people not being able to freely move and do their purchases the way they wanted. So a lot of actually purchases stopped. Others were stalled. People delayed their purchases because the global economy kind of uncertain. People didn't know whether they would keep their jobs and whether they should be saving their money or spending it. So we saw also a lot of delay of purchases. And finally, people shifted their purchases to the digital domain. And so a lot of physical sales-making companies also have had it very, very difficult amid all of the regulations that came with COVID-19 outbreak. All of this together, of course, led the whole world to face a major, major blow in terms of economic activity. The US unemployment increased from 3 to 14%. German industrial output decreased by a rocking 18%. And the UK economy contracted by about 20% in April. And these are crazy numbers, right? And so the economy took a big blow. And the question is, how will we be recovering? So to just give you a sense of confidence, we have seen worse. We have seen world wars. We have seen all sort of things, and economies tend to recover. That's what history teaches us. The question is, how will we be recovering, and how long is this going to take, and how easily are we be able to solve the root cause of the crises that we are facing? And so we often tend to translate this into letters to make things more easy to understand. There are 4 letters that are often used to describe economic trajectories. The first one is an L shape. And the L shape means that the economic activity had a sharp decrease and only then had a slow uptake in activity. And I think this is something that we'll be seeing for airlines in particular. Airlines are not trusted that much. People don't know whether airlines did the investments that they had to do. People don't know whether people around them are sick or not. So a lot of uncertainty, and especially because you have to fly high in the sky in a closed space, this requires a lot of trust. And if this trust can't be won back, and I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon, airlines are really going to face an L-shaped recovery. A U-shaped recovery is the second trajectory, and here we see again a very sharp decrease in economic activity, and then we see a faster than an L-shaped recovery, but again not super fast or so. And this is kind of what we saw in terms of manufacturing, and particularly so because you can't stop all of the regulations. You have to keep things in control to prevent a second wave. And if this is the case, then you will see productivity decline, you will see activity decline, and you will see that rules and regulations and people being irresponsible as well is going to prevent economic activity from increasing as fast as it could have, normally speaking. Fashion retail, I think, is going to see a V increase. So a V shape is one where you see a steep decline and then a steep increase. And why I think that fashion retail is going to see such a pattern is because the fashion retail decline mainly comes because people had to shape their shopping patterns. They couldn't do physical purchase anymore, so they couldn't wear something before buying, and also, of course, we don't know how long everything is going to take. But as economies are kind of again going back to what they used to be, and as people again need to do new purchases, people are simply going to shift their physical purchases to a digital domain and are going to keep on buying what they always have been buying. So it's just a manner of changing your shopping habit, and if so, then you will see a fast recovery coming back after that. So what are we then in fear of that can happen? Well, that is the W shape. So the W shape is one where you see after a rapid decline in economic activity, you will see a fake increase. And this fake increase is one where you will see a fake optimism, fake euphoria, because people think that you have been able to solve the root cause, but you actually haven't. And if we don't really find a good way of a controlled society, one where you perhaps also have a vaccine and so on, what you will see is you will see fake euphoria leading to a fake increase in economic activity, after which problems get more severe and people have to go back to lockdowns and to restrictions, and then you will see a second decrease in economic activity. And this is something that we don't want, because if trust goes away at the consumer side and the investor side, then hell will break loose for a second time. So in general, what do we expect for the economy to happen? Well, I'm thinking of a U-shape. I don't think a V-shape, because I think we're going to a controlled society. Things will take time to recover, and I don't think it's going to be that easy to get rid of all of this. And because of that, assuming that the vaccine is not going to come out anytime soon, and even if it comes out, we're not able to disseminate it anytime soon, I think we're going to have to live in a controlled society where certain sectors will be able to have the V shape that everyone hopes for, but others will see U shape or even an L shape because of trust issues and because of rules and regulations. Shortly going back to the financial crisis in 2008, so what we saw there is that the financial system broke down. People didn't trust the financial system anymore. Banks collapsed, and because of banks collapsing, companies collapsed. People went bankrupt and became jobless. So we saw a major economic effect on basically everything because of a thing that we couldn't solve, being the irresponsible behavior of financial institutions. And this took a long time for investors to come back, for jobs to be again generated, and so on. So for the coronavirus, we're not seeing a similar thing. It's just people being not able to physically move because of rules, regulations, and not trusting. If we can solve this through a controlled society, and perhaps hopefully also a vaccine, even if we're not going to see a V shape, we're going to see U shape. But in 2008, we actually saw an L shape, and economies taking a long, long time to recover. I think today is different. Thank you very much for your interest. I hope you all will stay as safe and well as possible. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you also in the next video. Take care.